Today we are going to explore the ancient art form of shaping thin, soft sheets of metal into useful and decorative items. This technique is called repoussé and chasing. These names come from French words, repoussé meaning driving or pushing forward from the back, and chasing meaning to drive out or chase around, which is what the artists are doing as they chase the forms on the front side of their work. One famous example of this is Tutankhamun's mask. Through the years, repoussé has been used to make many things, including silverware, bowls, brushes, jewelry, and even armor, and is still used today. So today we're going to make an embossed metal piece like this, and you can see that it has some dimension, or it has some form to it. It's no longer a flat piece. So if you look at the back, you can see that we have pushed it out here on the back. There's some fine details that you can add towards the end, and then you can add some different backgrounds and things, and then you'll add color. So you can see this one here is a fish, there's a starfish, and it's done just with different, we've left some of it silver and added lines around it. Here is a stingray where we've just put some bunch of dots and colored the dots in. And we have a dolphin here where we've left the dolphin's silver and we've colored in the rest. Today we're going to use some different techniques to mold our metal. So today you're going to need a piece of foam to work on, your metal sheet, and whichever animal you have chosen to do. And we are going to be working from the back side to start. And so we want to make sure we know which side is the back. What we're going to do first is we are going to add our name with one of the Sharpies to the back. And it doesn't matter where, because even if your artwork is over it, it won't matter. And now I know that this is the back of my artwork. Then we're going to lay whatever animal, sea creature we chose to do over the top. And I'm going to take my piece of tape it to the top, and fold it over nice and tight. So now I can lift that up and down. Then we're going to use a pencil to trace this onto the back and start our process of pushing it towards the front, so driving it from the back. So we're going to start by just tracing using our pencil and just tracing the outline of whatever sea animal you are going to do. And you might need to push a little bit firmly, and if it doesn't quite go through, you can always go over it another time. And you can always lift to see if you've gotten everything. And like here, I've noticed that I missed this line up here. So I'm going to put it back, and then I can just go over that line that I missed. And for right now, I'm just going to do just the outline. I'm not going to do any of the fine details quite yet. But so now that we've been working from the back, been kind of pushing that forward, the next step is we are going to turn it over, and now we are going to work from the front, and we are going to go around the line that we just made right next to it, and that technique is called chasing. So now we're going to take, so we're not going to flatten the line we made. We're going to go right next to it and push down the edge that is right next to the line that we did. So you can see that it is making that line stand up a little bit more. So we're pushing this back down. And you can use your pencil, or you could also use this stick that we have, whichever works easier for you. And make sure you're always working on your foam, because if you're pushing against your table, you're not going to get as good of a line. Now I've gone all the way around it on the front and the back. So I'm going to turn it over again, and I'm going to push from the back again to make it stand out a little bit more. And remember, you can always tell it's the back because that is where your name is. So there's a couple of different ways that you can push it back again. You can use your eraser and kind of just go inside here and just push that forward like this. And if we turn it over, you'll see that this is raised up a little bit more than here. So you're going to keep going from forward to back until you have it raised up the way you'd like. So like I said, you can use your pencil. You can use the end of this wooden stick, or you can even use the end of a Sharpie to push it forward, whichever works best for you or gives you the look that you would like. And now that I've gone from the back twice, I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to go around again from the front. I'm going to chase from the front again. You could again use your eraser here just to push down right next to it. Or if you want a sharper line, you can always use your pencil or that stick. And right now we're just working on the outline. So now I've gone around the outside a little bit. You can see there's a little bit more dimension, but now I might want to go back and add some of those fine details. So I can flip this back over, and it's kind of a little hard to see what we're doing or to push in there because now it's a little bit deep. So you might have to push it down a little bit, or you can kind of just draw them in on your own and just use this as reference. So like I know there's some lines here. So I'm going to go and add those lines into my tail, and I can flip it back and I see that there are some lines here and some up here. And I maybe want to redefine this a little bit, make this a little deeper, and maybe my eye. And when we've got, like, when we're trying to make a perfect circle, we can always use the tip of our wooden stick or a pencil and kind of just twist it around there. And then I can add like these little scales in, which are just a little U shape. And then we can flip it over and see if we've got all of our details in. And if we need to, we can kind of go around our edge a little bit more. And now what we want to do is we want to start working from the front, so that we want to maybe add some details around our edge. So I'm going to just work on flattening this a little bit more by going over with my eraser, or you could obviously do it with, or even just pushing it out. And so now that I know I have all of my details in, if I would like, I can take this off and set it to the side just to kind of use it as reference. And I'm going to draw like a little border frame around mine. And I'm just going to draw kind of like squiggly lines just here around the edge. And it's okay if it starts to bend a little bit because we can always straighten that back out. And I'm making sure that I'm always working on my foam. Now you can see that my corners stick up a little bit. I can just kind of push those down. We want to make sure that we are careful along the edges because the edges could be a little bit sharp. So we want to make sure that we're careful. You could also use your Sharpie and just kind of push along those edges to flatten your edges. So now I've got those in there. Maybe I want to draw some, like there's some bubbles coming out of for the fish. So I can just use that and make some small. Just pushing into there. If I want some bigger ones, I can turn it over. I could also use the end of my Sharpie, either end of the Sharpie, to get some different shaped bubbles and circles there. And then I'm just going to add a couple other little details here. And once you've added a few little details around the edge here, now you can start to add color. And when you're adding color, it's a good idea to work from the middle and out so that your hand is not, so you don't get the ink on your hand. But I'm just going to put my foam off to the side, and now I'm going to start to color my fish in. And I've noticed when I color with the Sharpie, it's usually a good idea to color in little circles. It tends to color in better on the metal. And be careful when you're coloring that you're not pushing too hard because you don't want to push back in the work that you've done. So use just a light touch when coloring with the markers. So here we have your raised, whatever sea creature you chose to do. And we've now raised that up using the technique from driving from the back, pushing from the back of Repoussé. And then we went around that outside edge to define it even more by using the technique called chasing, and then adding some other little details to make our metal embossed art piece today. I can't wait to see what you guys all create.